Hello and welcome back to our channel. And if you guys have never been here before, welcome. And today I have a great big surprise for all of you guys. So right now I want all of you to close your eyes. Open your eyes. Isn't she cute? We have a new addition to our homestead. This is our new puppy that is going to come and help us with our other dog, Maggie. As some of you guys know, a few months ago we did lose our older dog, Faith. And so Maggie has been a little sad and wanting a friend. So we went ahead, we have some friends that we know that live close by Baker Creek Seed Company. And so we just picked her up. And in the meantime, what we're gonna do is we're gonna come check out our friends at Baker Creek and go over some of the fall seeds that you could be planting or bulbs that you can be planting and kind of have a little field trip. So come on along. Before we get into the seed store, I need your help. You guys start thinking about a name for this little cutie pie. So her sister is Maggie, so we need another name for her. Last year you guys helped name Maggie, so this year you're gonna help name this little cutie. So start a-thinking. All right, are we gonna pick out some seeds today? What do we think? What are we gonna get? You want some zinnias? Zinnias are very cute. Oh yes. Exquisite zinnia is the puppy's pick today here at Baker Creek. And what else? Let's get this one. You like the flowers, don't you? Every homestead needs flowers. And a nap. Look who I just found here at the shipping warehouse at Baker Creek. It's Shanny McCabe.
Hi guys, thank you for having me.
Yeah, we just did a video together about seed saving, so if you guys haven't seen it, go back and check it out. But what do we got here, Shanny?
So right now we are in spring flowering bulb shipping season. Many people don't know that if you want things like hyacinth, tulips, and daffodils blooming and looking amazing in your garden in the spring, you actually have to plant them the prior fall. So right now is the time to order your bulbs if you want things like hyacinth, tulips, and daffodils. You order them now, you put them in the ground around fall, and then they're going to come up in the spring. They sit nestled in the ground over there.
So right over here are where all the daffodils are. And daffodils are one of my absolute favorites. I just love them. And there's so many different varieties. There's big ones, there's little ones, different color ones. So can you kind of talk about daffodils?
Sure, absolutely. One thing that I love about daffodils is that when you plant one bulb in the ground, you're not just going to get a single stem. You're going to get a nice tuft of foliage. The foliage is really nice. And then you're going to get tons of blooms out of that. And like you said, there are so many different forms, shapes, and colors of daffodils, from ones with really long noses. We call that little corolla up front of the nose. So we've got ones with really long noses. We've got ones with tiny, petite little noses. We've got colors like apricot. Most people have never seen an apricot colored daffodil. Usually you see that traditional bright lemony yellow. But we've got colors of apricot, lemon yellow, white, so many different colors, even bi-colored types. So I think most people have in their head an idea of a really traditional daffodil, but what you don't know is, and especially in the fine floral arranging world, there are some really refined, sophisticated daffodils that look amazing in arrangements or in the landscape.
So now what's the difference between really a tulip and a daffodil?
Right, so one of the main differences in how you plant them is the distance apart. As I said, daffodils have a lot of stems and a lot of leaves coming from each bulb, but it's different with tulips. Tulips, you're just going to get one single stem and one leaf structure out of this bulb. So when you're planting, you're going to cluster a whole bunch of tulips in one planting, or else they look pretty lonely in the landscape. So always mass plant your tulips. With daffodils, you can actually just plop a few bulbs in a space, and they're going to make a nice tuft of foliage and a bunch of blooms. So the way you design them is patently different. Tulips are excellent for floral arranging, just like daffodils are, so they're similar in that way. Mostly the difference is that you're looking at the difference between a single stem and multi-stem.
Right, and I think most people aren't successful planting the tulips because they only plant just one or two in the area, and then you just have this little guy up there all by himself. And then daffodils, people are like, I like those better. It's just probably they just aren't doing it right.
Right, another huge difference is that tulips really do want to replant them every year or every 2 years because they're not truly perennial, most varieties. There are some older varieties that are true perennials, but daffodils will come back every year. So you're putting your daffodils in once, enjoy them for many years. You put your tulips in, you're going to do it every year.
So right now we're at the garden shed and we're going to be planting and showing you guys how to plant ice cream tulips. And what kind of daffodils do we get?
Van Scion daffodils.
Okay.
So there's a few things to know about planting tulips, planting daffodils. One thing that's really important is knowing your soil. You want a well-drained soil. The biggest thing that's going to kill your bulbs over the winter is not cold, it's not hot, it's actually standing water. So be sure to double dig your soil, make sure, yes.
That's a nugget. Yeah.
Double dig that soil, make sure it's well drained before you plant those bulbs. The other important thing is to picture in your mind's eye the design that you're going to do before you plant. That way you can decide how many bulbs you're going to buy and you can parcel them out for your design. For example, you just need a few daffodils in a cluster to really fill in a space, but tulips, you need to cluster quite a few tulips to make a statement in a garden. And sometimes you get several bulbs fused together here. And as a rule of thumb with bulbs, you're always going to make sure and identify where that root zone is and point that down. I know it's kind of silly, but it happens all the time. People point them
the wrong way. Yeah.
So make sure to point your roots going downwards, and you're going to want to dig deep into your soil. And you need to think about being a bulb in the winter. You want to be cozy, you want to be nestled, you don't want to get dug up by critters, you don't want to come up to the surface by accident and get exposed to cold. This soil is going to be the blanket, the insulator for the winter time. So be sure and plant deeply enough. A good rule of thumb is to plant your bulbs about 1, 2, sometimes 3 times the depth of the size of the bulb. So sometimes about 6 inches down is the best.
And I think a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah, a lot of times people plant them too shallow. Even this might be a bit too shallow. Don't be worried about planting them deep. That's going to keep them well protected over the winter. So we're planting them down deep in the soil, covering them back up, and then a layer of straw mulch is really nice because it keeps them nestled in over the winter.
We're going to be designing how we want to lay out our bed. So Shani is going ahead and she is placing where she wants to put the daffodils. We already learned how deep we're going to plant them. Now this is how we're going to design them so it looks beautiful.
Right, when you're planning a design, it often helps to actually physically lay out the bulbs where you imagine they're going to come up in the spring, and then you dig your holes and plant them in. And you can employ like the lasagna layering technique where you'll plant certain bulbs very deep, like daffodils, and then certain smaller bulbs can be planted a few layers more shallow, and they're going to bloom at different times, so it's going to ensure that you've got color coming up in this bed throughout the whole season. So the general rule of thumb is to go by the size of the bulb. So things with a big bulb like daffodils are going deeper. In the next shallow level, you're going to get things like tulips. That's going to go in the middle layer. And then when you go for the uppermost layer, those are the things with the super small bulbs, mostly crocus. And the other cool thing is that they're going to bloom in sort of a staggered pattern. So first coming up is going to be those little crocus. If you ever notice, they pop right out of the snow. Yeah. Crocus first, then your tulips and your daffodils are going to come up. So you'll sort of...
And so many people want to know, how do they do it? How do they do it?
Yeah,
so that's another nugget right there.
Yeah, that's how you keep color in your spring flowering beds longer, is by lasagna planting. So maybe we'll do something like this where we put our daffodils about 6 inches apart because they're going to throw so much foliage, they need a little space. And then we're going to cluster our tulips nice and close together. So we'll stagger our tulips in between, and they're just going to come up in clusters of 3. So we can plant these extra deep, like 6 inches. These are going to be more like 4 inches. By the way, another nugget would be that if you have a harsher winter, plant deeper. The deeper that your tulip is planted, the deeper that your bulb is planted, the more protected it's going to be from winter. When you get your winter rains, it's going to kind of naturally pull your bulbs up closer to the soil, so you're going to want a nice thick winter blanket if you live somewhere with a hard winter. So harsh winter, plant deeper, okay?
Now we are in the warehouse where they're curing some garlic, and Shanny's going to talk a little bit about garlic because garlic is my passion. I love garlic. It's so good. I use it in everything, and it is so helpful for you. So can you kind of talk about garlic?
Right, yeah, I love garlic too. It's got those incredible antimicrobial properties and great for the immune system, staving off colds and sickness in the winter. Yep. So I want to show you guys something really important. It's knowing the difference between softneck and hardneck garlics. So if you are growing up north and you have a harsher winter, you may be drawn towards the hardneck garlics. These tend to be a bit more, they tend to be more cold hardy. The other cool thing about hardneck garlics is they send up this beautiful scape or flower stem and a flower bloom, and you can actually harvest and eat that scape. It's like a garlicky green bean. It's delicious. So the thing about hardnecks is they typically have fewer cloves, they're bigger cloves, and they're easier to peel. They don't store as long as a softneck, but they still have great storage qualities. I mean, the difference is almost minuscule. So softnecks tend to have more cloves per bulb, and they're a little bit harder to peel, which is actually a good thing. That means that it's got a longer storage quality because that skin really holds on to the clove, and it's harder to peel, but it's kind of worth it because it stores a little bit longer. Right. So if you want to do garlic braiding, or if you want a really long storage garlic, a softneck garlic. If you live in a southern climate or somewhere that has milder winters, softneck garlic is a great choice for you. Hardneck garlics are excellent if you have hard winters, and they're great if you like those gourmet garlic scapes.
So now let's see how to plant the garlic and when to plant our garlic.
Right, so the best time to plant your garlic is actually after your soil has experienced a light frost. That's usually when your soil is absolutely primed and ready for the garlic. So you're going to want to prepare the planting bed, whether you're a no-till gardener or a till gardener. Just get that bed ready, free of weeds, dug up, double dig it at least. Have that soil well-drained soil, so it's got to be well worked, nicely dug up and fine. Get that soil ready in the fall, and then let the soil experience a little light frost, and then you'll be ready. Most gardeners in the U.S., most, not all, are planting in late October or November, even into December. I know I plant my garlic up in Rhode Island in December, so it depends on your area, but let a little frost happen to your soil, and then you can plant.
It's ready. In the winter, do you put a lot of straw over it?
I put a few inches of straw, maybe 4 to 6 inches. Okay. You're gonna break up your bulbs into individual cloves. Again, identify where the bottom of the roots are,
and this is a tricky part for people because so many people put them in the wrong way.
Don't put them in upside down. Put it root side down.
Root side.
And you're gonna plant them at least twice as deep as they are large, sometimes 3 times as deep. Planting them deeper is better. And you're gonna cover them up when you're done.
So here is a question I've been dying to ask you. Would you recommend planting your garlic all together, like in a big patch, or companion planting a few with some other things?
Definitely plant them all together. Garlic does not do well with weed competition or competition from other plants.
And I know that from experience.
Yeah. It's the garlic family, it does have these incredible pest repelling qualities, so interplanting a few around your more pest prone plants is nice. But really, for a good garlic harvest, plant it all in one spot.
I even tried one year, I planted garlic with some onions, and that was like, ugh.
They don't like competition.
No,
they like to be in the same place.
Yes.
Another note is to plant them in the same bed year after year.
Yes.
It's one of the crops that you don't have to rotate. And in fact, I've learned from the master seedsman here, Martin Walsh, he informed me that actually your second and third year can be some of the better years for your garlic if you planted it in the same place. The first year, sometimes the cloves take a bit to get used to the soil.
Right.
So in the second and third year, if you plant them in the same place, they're going to really adapt to that soil and thrive.
Yes. So don't give up. You can do it, you garlic people. So we're standing here in front of the coxcomb. These are beautiful. So when these things are just gorgeous. I'm gonna have to plant some of these next year.
Yeah, these are gorgeous. It's old country garden, old cottage garden flower. You don't often see the tall coxcomb. I remember when I first started working at Baker Creek, my mom's heirloom that she had been after for years was a tall coxcomb because they had sort of stopped offering them. Only dwarf coxcomb were available. So I was really happy to get my mom seeds for tall coxcomb. And this is a variegated variety that hasn't been grown for many, many years since antiquity. So we were excited to bring it back.
Yeah, so this will be one of my things. I always just try something new, so next year that's on my list.
Yeah.
But other than that, I wanted to thank you so much. We're going to be on our way. We're going to take our new puppy on another little adventure. She's on her way home now. We've had quite an eventful day at Baker Creek. Even the cute little puppy is exhausted. She's had a really busy day. But we have to drive home now. Can you say bye? Aw. You ready? She's kind of sleepy. All right, let's go. And you know what, guys? Leave a comment below if you can think of a name for her, because we're trying to really come up with a name. So don't forget to leave a comment below. See ya.